Hello, and welcome to the Sacred Land Primary School Open Day. In this video, we will explain why humanities are an important part of our teaching methods at Sacred Land Primary. We will discuss the inclusion of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander perspectives and give a pedagogical explanation of how we teach humanities. We will also give examples of on-country visits to cultural centres and museums, as well as how we assess and celebrate the work of students. Humanities is part of the Year 3 schooling curriculum, which states what topics and knowledge educators must teach to their students. The Australian Institute for Teaching and School Leadership, also known as the AITSL, states the importance of teaching humanities for students to understand a broader knowledge of the subjects covered under the humanities bracket. Humanities provides students with a knowledge on areas such as Australian history, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander studies and history, and laws. We also discuss how the laws are made and why we have them, why people participate in communities and how students can participate in these communities, similarities and differences between nations, where nations are located, and why we celebrate national holidays. Many skills are acquired by students when studying humanities, such as the following: the ability to work towards a Level 4 standard of humanities studies, the ability for students to ask questions, learning how to problem solve, the ability to think critically and look at things from different perspectives, effective communication skills, and the ability to make decisions and adapt to change. The following classes are taught as part of humanities: politics, economics and business, civics and citizenship, history, and geography. These topics are covered by looking at Australia now as a society, as well as other nations, and the importance of all these focus areas in relation to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and their culture and how this has changed and developed over time. The module focus areas are developed by the AITSL and outline what teachers should know and be able to teach. Module Focus Area 1.4 is designed to help teachers develop cultural competence and professional skills and knowledge regarding ideas and strategies when teaching Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students. Module Focus Area 2.4 is designed to assist teachers in teaching students and develop their understanding and respect for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander culture, history, and languages. The inclusion of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander perspectives. By taking a focus on the cross-curriculum priorities, Level 3 students are able to study a relevant and engaging curriculum that helps to support the educational goals of the Melbourne Declaration. The Declaration looks at 3 major areas that benefit both the students as individuals and Melbourne and Australia as a whole. The priorities cover 3 areas of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures, Asia, and Australia's engagement with Asia. Sustainability takes a focus on giving students an appreciation for the country and also helps teach students the need to find more sustainable ways to live. Asia and Australia's engagement with Asia looks into celebrating and exploring the links between Asia and Australia. By looking into the relationship, students learn about the reliance on Asia. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures covers 3 main concepts. The first key concept highlights a significant connection to country that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples have and celebrates the belief system that connects people physically and spiritually to country and place. The second key concept looks at the diversity of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples' culture through language, ways of life and experiences as expressed through historical, social and political lenses. It provides opportunities for students to gain a deeper understanding of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people's ways of being, knowing, thinking and doing. The third key concept addresses the diversity of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander societies. It examines relationship structures and the significant contributions of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people on a local, national and global scale. AITSL Standards 1.4 Strategies for teaching Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students. This relates to the standards to uphold in the classroom for the teacher to teach students about Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures, histories and backgrounds. 2.4 Understand and respect Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people to promote reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. This relates to teaching students about respect for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories, cultures and languages. Respect, relationships and reconciliation, also known as the RRR prototype. This provides resources to help support educators in the deliverance of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander education programs to all students. Module 1. Know Yourself. This explores one's personal values and views on the RRR themes. Module 2. Know Your Students. By knowing and understanding one's students better, the teacher can teach better, especially when regarding Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students. Module 3. Know What You Teach. By exploring what is taught in the curriculum, a deeper understanding for the RRR values can be brought into the classroom. By incorporating knowledge about Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander significant and important dates into the whole school, a widespread respect for their culture and histories can be established. By incorporating significant and important dates into the school calendar, a deepened understanding of Australia and its people, cultures and histories can be made that will last a lifetime among students. As each year level of students have a different curriculum, they are able to grow in their knowledge and understanding of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures and histories throughout each year of their education. This enables progressive learning and continual development in this area of learning. The word pedagogy is commonly used to describe the practical teaching method rather than the theory of teaching. Pedagogy is often referred to as the process of teaching. It is the way teachers teach and it is influenced by teaching theories. We at this school believe pedagogy is important because it gives form and insight into effective teaching practices. Here at this school, our teachers try to base their pedagogies bearing in mind a number of theorists. However, in our classrooms, there are two theories in particular that we try to employ: Bloom's taxonomy and Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. Bloom's taxonomy is a framework created by the theorist Benjamin Bloom, which is designed to categorize learning goals into a hierarchy. The hierarchy works from lower order thinking at the bottom, remembering, to higher order thinking at the top, creating. The taxonomy assists our teachers in organizing classwork around a specific subject in a structured form. Using this taxonomy, we can judge, to a degree, how students are thinking about or understanding a topic. A student may be able to recall facts and details easily, but have trouble applying this information. There are a number of ways Bloom's taxonomy can be implemented across all classrooms. However, looking at Indigenous perspective, these are some examples of how we might do it. Create. We might ask students to create their own map of Victoria that depicts traditional placement and its correlation to the Victoria that they are familiar with. Apply. We might ask students to demonstrate their knowledge of traditional placement by filling out a map of Victoria that depicts locations of local Indigenous groups prior to colonisation. Remember, we might have a class discussion with the goal of recalling everything the students know about where Indigenous Australians live. Multiple intelligence is the categorization of intelligences that assist in acquiring knowledge and solving problems in specific ways. The theory of multiple intelligences was created by Howard Gardner, and it divides a person's intelligence into 8 areas. We believe that the multiple intelligence theory is valuable to our pedagogy because it enables us to better understand each student's individual learning needs. The various intelligences of this theory are musical, bodily kinesthetic, interpersonal, verbal linguistic, logical mathematical, naturalistic, intrapersonal, visual spatial. To cater for interpersonal and linguistic learners, our teachers might allow opportunities for group discussions about coursework. For logical mathematical learners, we might take a very structured approach to classes and perhaps emphasize statistics in our lessons. For those with musical intelligence, we might look into structuring a lesson around writing lyrics to a song on one of our topics of study. With students with intrapersonal intelligence, we might allow some quiet study time to give them the opportunity to work by themselves. And for students with naturalistic, spatial or bodily kinesthetic intelligence, our teachers may take on a more practical approach. By structuring lessons around artifacts, students can interact with or perhaps through on-place excursions. At our school, we believe and we attach great importance to experiential learning. As part of our humanities education, our students participate in a number of excursions and site-based visits. During the site-based visits, the students have the opportunity to explore and dive into some of the history and culture of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. The students are taken to the Melbourne Museum in Carlton and focus on the Bundjalunga exhibit in their excursion. The Bundjalunga Cultural Centre focuses on the traditions and stories that relate particularly to the Indigenous people of southeastern Australia and their creation story, as well as their traditions and customs. The centre provides students with the opportunity to walk through time and observe how Aboriginal people lived in Australia before European colonisation, and ensures the customs and stories of the Aboriginal people of the past and present do not get lost or forgotten. After visiting the site-based visits, the students are exposed to a variety of different learning activities at school to increase their knowledge and understanding of the culture and traditions of the traditional owners of our country. Some examples include exploring the importance of storytelling in Aboriginal culture through the use of Aboriginal storybooks, exploring traditional Aboriginal art in the region and the opportunity to use some of the traditional materials such as ochre. Then further exploring local Aboriginal history with reference to our site visits, which then follows a research project of the traditional people of the school's local area, including their languages and traditions. Our school follows the Australian curriculum, which holds Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures as a cross-curriculum priority. Our school's site-based visits and curriculum sequencing in humanities adhere to these values in the curriculum, as well as the Australian Institute of Teaching Standards for Proficient Teachers, which all our teachers must adhere by, include two standards in which the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students and their culture are required to be celebrated and explored. Diverse communities and places and the contribution people make in them is the theme of our Level 3 Humanities curriculum and is where most of these experiences will be focused around. Assessing and celebrating student work. For all teachers and educators assessing students, learning is an important concept to understand, as it involves multiple processes such as gathering, analysing and reflecting on evidence to make knowledgeable and consistent conclusions to improve future student learning. Therefore, in order to assess learning, a range of tasks are administered by the Australian curriculum to do so, which consist of exams, tests, quizzes, oral presentations, and portfolios. These types of assessments have been proven to be effective for an educator to understand the learning abilities and performances of their students, but do not provide any effectiveness whilst in classroom activities or discussions. Even though these types of assessments are effective in most circumstances, they can be considerably stressful for students, which can lead, ultimately, to mental illnesses such as depression and anxiety. Additionally, these types of assessments can only occur a few times during a year, which does not always assess what a student has actually learnt. Another way of assessing students' learning is to have ongoing in-class assessments that the student may or may not know is occurring. For example, looking at their work for spelling, neatness, presentation or creativity, how interactive they are with classroom discussions and activities, and seeing whether their individual goals are on track or have been met. These are all worthy indicators for the teacher/educator to recognize whether their students are up to date with assigned reading or classroom projects. This method demonstrates that it can be an effective tool to assess students' learning, as it can be used throughout every lesson and does not require many external resources. Furthermore, this method of assessing student learning plays more of an important role into showing educators what the student is actually learning and guides the teacher to either enhance or regulate the difficulty of classroom activities or projects. Educators' and teachers' assessment of student work and learning is an important task to complete, as it is a sign to whether or not the goals of education are being met. It also is an imperative task to complete, as it is a method to give constructive or positive feedback. Giving feedback to students plays a vital role into improving students' learning abilities and to allow an enhanced understanding of required assessment practices or tasks. In order to celebrate student work or learning, it's not necessarily a result or grade. However, it's other things that normally enhance a student's self-efficiency or esteem. This occurs in forms such as posting students' work around the room or school environment for other students to see the achievement of that student, allowing students to reflect on what they have learned and discuss with other students, giving out stickers or having a star chart for well-behaved students and having attention to detail.